If you're dealing with Google Ads policies, I feel your pain. We've dealt with just about all of them because over the last 10 years, we've worked with so many different businesses that you're bound to come across them. And it's not always super easy to get past them. Sometimes you can get away with a quick appeal. Sometimes it's a much lengthier process. But I'm here to explain exactly how these policies work and what we do to get around them. So going in, what is a policy? So a policy is something that's against policy on Google Ads. I know the concept's simple, but really it's Google's way of saying that we're not going to market your product or service on their platform. Now, not allowing it and them not being able to catch it are two different things. In some cases, and there are some industries where they're super cracked down, a lot of the times there's ways around it, but in most scenarios, there's going to be loopholes that you can get away with to still market your product or service without flagging the policy that would normally stop you from advertising it. So when it comes to this, I want to talk about what generally will trigger a policy. In most cases, it's going to be 3 to 4 main things. It could be either the ad you're running, which is going to be text within that ad, or the content you're using. It could be the keywords you're targeting. In most cases, it's just not going to even allow you to even put in the keywords that are against policy. But in some cases, it could be the fact that that's triggering the actual policy. And then the last thing is going to be where the traffic's going. In most cases, that's going to be the biggest problem because when Google's bots crawl your assets, your landing page, your website, whatever it is, it's going to see certain things that will trigger the policy. And those certain things in most cases are words or phrases. So what you want to do is one, do your research online. In most cases, it's going to be someone who's dealt with the same problem. And there might be a shortcut to figuring out exactly what you need to stop adding onto your website, landing page, ads, whatever it is, to go against the policy. The same note, Google will generally tell you as well what is triggering the policy. In some cases, they're not going to say, this exact word, whatever it is, but it will flag the exact type of product or service that's triggering that. And then you can kind of deduct based off of that what wording on the website is making it look like you're representing that exact product service. So that's number one, is identifying what's triggering the actual policy. And then number two is taking that off your assets. I know it's not ideal. The key is if you don't take it off, you're not going to be able to advertise anyways. So you're kind of taking the two, the one of two less evils. So very, very important is you want to establish what's causing the policy to trigger. Once you establish that, then you're going to find the best way to take that out and replace it with things that kind of beat around the bush. Because even though you can't say the exact words or phrases, a lot of times you can say something similar. And then you're going to keep running that through the assets and the ads to see if it'll then allow you to run through that traffic. You'll see very quickly, it usually happens within a couple hours, whether or not your ad is flagged and then the reason for why it's flagged. So if you do run a test, you'll get the answer pretty quickly and then you get to the next test. So very, very important. Not always is this super simple. There's been cases, for example, we have a client in the firearms niche, and firearms are a big no-go for Google. They actually had multiple advertisers and agencies trying to market their products in the past. They couldn't even market on the platform. When we did this for them, it took us about a month and a half of just pure troubleshooting on exactly how to get past these policies and how to make it seem to Google like we're not trying to market a product that's in one of their really red flag niches. And once we got through that and did the work that most agencies wouldn't do, which is finding exactly how to get away from these policy issues, we've unlocked, I think they're about doing 100K-ish per month in revenue profitably on Google as a channel now, which didn't actually exist before. So what I'm saying here is don't give up. Most people aren't going to do the work that you would do to get past the policy and really deduct where the issue is and what you need to do to get around it, what you need to eliminate from those assets. But if you do that, you're going to be able to get traffic most people don't have access to, because like I said, if people aren't willing to do that work, they're not going to be able to advertise anyways. If they can't advertise, that means more traffic for you. The next thing you have to worry about is really whether or not your whole account gets flagged. We kind of call this being blackballed by Google, because no matter what you do at this point, they're going to suspend your account. Anything you try, they're just going to keep hitting you with suspensions, and then eventually you're going to give up. Now, if this happens and you can't seem to get anything to work and it seems like the problem is stuck to the account, you can always hop accounts. And we did this actually in the exact example I mentioned about that firearms account. If you can't get away from the policies in your account, it might be the account's problem, even if you have like strikes, warnings, whatever it is. So what you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to open up a new Google Ads account, and you can use Google Ads Editor and switch everything over. You can rebuild it yourself. But the key here is not using the things that are triggering what was happening before. And that's not just the assets. But the biggest thing is not allowing Google to know that you are the same business opening up another account, because then you'll get hit with a policy called circumventing systems. And if you get hit with that, Google thinks you're trying to game the system, which you kind of are, but you're trying to get away with it so you can make yourself more money and them more money too. So if you do start a new account, in most cases, you're going to have to use a new credit card, because Google a lot of the times will catch people opening up new accounts if they're relating it to the same credit card. Highly recommend. In some ways, you can get away with this, but in most cases, you're going to have to use a new URL as well, because if you're marketing the same business, which they identify by using a URL, that's not going to allow you to start the new account. It's going to know that it's the exact same business as the other one. So you're going to need a new URL. In some cases, and this is really if you're trying to scale and you're dedicated to your brand or service and you're trying to get past this no matter what. In some cases, you might need a new business entity if you verified the business in the account, because at some point with these new accounts, they make you verify the business. And if you've already verified with your business documentation, you're going to need new business documentation. Sure, maybe you'll be able to get away with doing a DBA or something on your current corporation or LLC, whatever it is. But if you've done the business verification in one account and you're going to have to eventually do it in another one, you're going to need different assets, right? So very important there. But like I mentioned, this is a little bit of a tricky circumstance. And if you're trying to make more money and you're dedicated to your business, you're going to want to get through this no matter what it takes. So next is really going to be how to leverage Google support. Now, Google support has become pretty much garbage over the last year and a half, 2 years. They've taken away most human support. A lot of the support's going to be overseas and India, that kind of thing. So unless you have a really good US rep that's on the actual Google campus, which most people don't have unless they have a good size agency like us, you're going to have to do a lot of the work yourself. And in that scenario, you still will have to go through Google support to get your account unbanned or unsuspended. So the biggest thing here is to have perseverance. Google, they're very slippery when it comes to their support. Most of the people working for Google on the support side, they don't want to be the person to bring to their team that they have a problem account they can't solve. So a lot of times they'll just ditch it. So you'll get a lot of responses like, nothing you can do, the information is not really going to make sense, whatever it is. But you got to just keep hammering them. So if you keep hammering them and you keep putting in cases after case after case, there's no issues that should trigger a policy. Eventually you will get the one rep that'll push it through. So just be very important to be strict and on top of them. Just because you got to know the first time doesn't mean you're not going to get a yes the next time. And I guarantee you, if you stay on top of them, keep putting tickets in, and you've dissolved all the issues with the assets flagging, whatever it is, you will get someone that'll push your account through. So I know that this video leaves a couple question marks and is a bit technical, but because every situation is a little different and there's so many different policies that can happen, it wouldn't make sense to go after each one. What I really highly recommend as a grand scheme, what you need to do is deduct where the issues are, remove them, and then hammer support until you get the account cleared, which should allow you to market. If you want more videos like this on Google Ads tips, and then also even fighting policies or specific situations, make sure to like and subscribe for more. We also constantly post videos on our socials if you want quick tips on how to scale. Thanks for watching.